What's going on, guys? Tyson the Trainer here, back with another video. We are on the casting couch. For those of you who can't see, if you're listening to the podcast, I'm basically on my black leather couch that looks like the casting couch. And it is time for another video. So today's sports talk topic is going to be about overtraining. All right. So, as you guys, still talking about myself again, as you guys know, I am doing a triathlon and I'm doing quite a lot of exercise. So basically, I'm doing 4 days of training of weights. I'm doing about 6 to 7 cardio sessions a week, and that is cycling, swimming, and boxing, because I can't run at the moment, and that's quite a big workload at the end of the day. So kind of, looking at how the week goes so far, Monday is my off day, just doing steps. Tuesday is today, when I'm recording this video, so weights in the morning, swimming in the afternoon. Wednesday is boxing and weights. Thursday is weights and cycling. Friday is just cycling by itself. Saturday is weights and cycling. Friday is weights by itself and boxing, which is double session. Saturday is cycling, and Sunday is cycling and swimming. So I have a lot of tour days, I have some one a days, and I have a day off totally, okay? Now, the thing is, everyone's going to be different with this, right? And like your workload in regards to your training is going to be one component, but you've also got to think about the rest of your life too. How stressful is your life at the moment? What is your energy intake like? A lot of different factors are going to be confounding in regards to whether you're having too much of a training load and you're overreaching, which is a good thing, or going to overtrain. All right. So as I'm going into this new type of training, I'm not going all out. I haven't started cycling all that time. I haven't done, I'm not doing everything that I've planned that I'm going to be doing at the moment. And I'm just really letting my body get into it and just start to flow with things and see how I feel recovery-wise overall. Example, Sunday I was supposed to swim and then I was supposed to go for the gym, all right? Go to the gym. I couldn't go to the gym Sunday afternoon. I was just cooked. Thankfully, it was a deload for me, so I just took the day off. But I just listened to my body, I wouldn't have been able to go to the gym and push a hard session because I was just too exhausted. And so for me, I'm just listening to my body at the moment. So today, I'm going to be doing a double session because I did the gym in the morning and it's a deload. And then I've got swimming in the afternoon, which is going to be fine. Tomorrow, I've got boxing. I'm going to get a good night's sleep. I'm going to make sure I have time for that. And then I'll go to the gym in the afternoon because boxing, I've always noticed, doesn't be as taxing to my weight training. But what I found is that swimming is actually very fatiguing for me, especially because I'm new into the swimming side of things and it's just an overall different exercise. It actually is very, very demanding on my body. And so for me, I know I've got to try and do that in the afternoons now, away from my weight training session doesn't affect me, okay? Cycling, I've only just picked up my bike, so I'm going to cycle once this week. So I'm going to be moving towards what I want to do, but I'm just integrating it slowly. So the biggest thing at the moment is I'm swimming twice a week. I'm doing stationary cycling once a week. I'm doing weight training 4 times a week, and I'm doing boxing twice a week. So there's a lot more single sessions than double sessions in a week. But then, as I get better at cycling, that'll increase to 3 times a week. So cycling 3 times a week, boxing twice a week, swimming 3 times a week. That is right there, 3, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 cardio sessions and 4 weight training sessions. Okay, so if we divide that over the week in total, that's going to be 12 sessions. So that's nearly 2 days for 6 days, which is a fair bit. So that's what I'll be working up to, but that might be too much for me. I might have to cut it down a little bit. Eventually, I'm going to have to take away boxing because I want to do run. I'm going to have to run if I'm going to be a triathlete, And so all these things are just things that I'm going to be rolling with to see how my body recovers. And this also comes to proper programming too. So with my training, I progressively overload for 4 weeks, and then I have a deload week. And so as my training's progressing, I'm also making my cardio sessions a little bit harder each week. And a lot of my cardio sessions are actually low intensity, so they can be repeated again. My heart rate isn't that high, it sits about 140 to 150 beats, and I can maintain that for long periods of time, and that doesn't negatively impact my recovery. But with higher intensity training sessions, that's when I notice it's quite taxing the body. So for my swimming on Sunday, because I pushed it as hard as I can, went a little bit harder, got my best swim time for a kilometer, and then also did 750 meters in the ocean, it just really fucking took it out of me because my body's not used to that. And I also trained at a higher intensity. And so with that higher intensity, that just means that I've just cooked myself a little bit too early. And so that was my peak week for swimming, and now we drop it down this week and take it a little bit easier. And that's how it's going to go. So I've got my training with my my cardio side of things in line with my weight training. So everything gets harder each week, right? And then I have a deload and it drops, and then I come back up. So, as time goes on, I just progressively make things harder. Then I have that deload to let my body recover, and then I go from there. And so, we can't have these strict rules about what we're going to do on what days, because some days you're just going to be exhausted and you will have to listen to your body. But there's also a difference between exhausted and just being fucking lazy, If you're like, oh, I can't be bothered to go today, I'm just a little bit sore, but then you end up doing other things, or you end up just fucking around and you actually could have gone, don't be slack, all right? It's the athlete's mentality. The athlete mentality doesn't kill himself. The athlete mentality doesn't do everything all the time and, run himself into the ground because they know they have to perform with their best. But the athlete doesn't also get lazy and just be like, I'm not going to be bothered today. And you got to find that fine line for yourself to see when are you bullshitting yourself and when are you actually telling the truth. And this way you're going to be able to, just have a lot more self-awareness with how you should be training overall, okay? Now, if you are someone who has just predominantly been doing a cardio exercise instead of any strength training, or strength training instead of any cardio, start by slowly integrating those things in and, adding 1 or 2 sessions in extra a week and going from there. Because for the most part, for those of you who are listening, your sport is going to be your primary focus as opposed to weight training, okay? So a lot of you are only going to need to weight train 3 days a week and do some strength training full body, right? For an hour in the gym. For me, I like to do 4 days a week and I like to push a little bit harder. But that's also because I just come primarily from a weight training background. I've got that experience and I've got that overall strength. But also for me, I'm on testosterone replacement. So for those of you who don't know, I had a testosterone issue when I was younger and I'm on doctor's prescription for the rest of my life because I didn't go through puberty properly. And so having that gives me the recovery faster than a lot of people. I don't get dips in my testosterone. It just goes like this and then slowly comes down because every day it goes a little bit lower, like by a smidgest amount. But I never dip back into a low level. And so for me, everyone else's testosterone goes like this, right? Just depending on the day. If you have alcohol, it goes like this. If you have shit sleep, it goes like this. If stress comes up and cortisol goes high, it goes like this. But for me, I've got injected testosterone. So there's none of this, right? It goes like this. It starts at this point, and then it comes down to the normal level, and then I get an injection and it comes back up. So I'm sitting from a normal level to a higher level, and that's just because I've got exogenous testosterone in me, which means I can recover faster than most people. I can train more than most people. And this isn't a high amount of testosterone. This is just, how am I trying to say this? This is not a steroid dose of testosterone. This is just a testosterone dose that keeps me at a good high level in a range. So if you got my testosterone checked right now, the range, I think, it goes up to 27 or something, and my range actually sits at 30. So I sit above the range, all right, by 3 points. And I maintain that, just straight. And then if it drops down a little bit, I probably drop down to 25. So I'm always going to be in that high testosterone range or outside of that range because I have it exogenously. And so I don't have to worry. I still do have to worry about recovery, obviously. I still have to worry about not overtraining, obviously, but I have a higher capacity to be able to recover from that because testosterone speeds up recovery. So if you're someone who's on performance-enhancing drugs, you definitely can push yourself harder and you have that recovery process. But for a large majority of people who are just, following along and, or just, exercise as an athlete and you're natural, you're going to have to pace yourself more. You're going to have to not do as high intensity training. You're going to have to keep volumes lower. You're going to have to, not push yourself to the limit. And you're going to have to control more variables in your life. Again, sleep, stress, exercise training, all these things come into play. So it's how is your lifestyle managed too? For me, I'm a go driven person. I'm type A. I love to go. And so even though I have stress, it's good stress. It keeps me going. I like it. It keeps me alert. But for other people, stress can be too much and it can really take a dip on you. It can affect your, again, with recovery, but it can also affect your performance and it can also affect you getting sick too. So we want to avoid getting sick. So, all these things come into play. And with the overtraining side of things, if you overtrain yourself, you're going to be fucked for a long time, right? So you do have to really play a body awareness game and just kind of see how you go overall and just learn not to push it as hard. And it's okay to actually do lower volume stuff. For me, I'm not going anything super crazy regarding my weight or my training. Like I said, 1 or 2 sessions a week of my cardio is a little bit harder of the push. But for the most part, it's quite cruising, I get a sweat on, but it's not killing me. It's not hard as it could be. It's just something I'm doing to build up that overall aerobic capacity, right? Then with the training, I'm pushing it hard, but I'm always leaving 2 or 3 in the tank. Because I know if I cook myself too much in the gym, I'm going to ruin my progress overall. So it's just having that body awareness. And for me, I don't need to make any more strength gains. I don't need to keep pushing heavier weights in the gym. I don't need to keep trying to progress because I'm happy with my current body composition. And so for me, it's just about maintaining what I've got. And that also comes down to you and what your priorities are. What comes first? Is it your sport? Is it your muscle gains? Is it, what is that important to you? Is it your lifestyle? And so taking all these components, all these factors and components, I guess you would say, and putting them into kind of like a circle and having, you have your training component with your weights, you have your training component with your cardio, you have your sleep, you have your stress, and you have your nutrition too. Are you nutritionally adequate? Are you not in a deficit? Are you maintaining your weight? Are you, you caloric intake the same as output? Or are you in a deficit and actually losing because then your training volume is going to have to be reduced? Or are you in a surplus and you're trying to gain some muscle mass so you actually could possibly push it higher? There's so many different variables out there. So it's like, everyone's going to be different, but for you really have to make sure you manage as much as you can, especially if your training load is increasing, okay? If you're going from fucking 4 training sessions a week with cardio to now 8 training sessions, that's double your capacity for weights and cardio. So it's like, that's a lot, right? And like for me, before this, I was doing 2 boxing sessions. So I added in 2 swims first, okay? An extra 2 sessions on. So if I was already doing technically 6 exercises a week, now I'm doing 8, okay? That's a very small increase overall compared to doing 4 sessions to 8 sessions, because now it's an extra 4 sessions a week, and that can be metabolically taxing. Sorry, not metabolically taxing, just like taxing the body overall. So I guess you would say metabolically, obviously, because you have a high calorie burn, but neurologically taxing, body stresses. So a lot of that does need to come into play and just have awareness overall, all right? So we do not want to overtrain. We want to make sure we progressively overload and have some type of training stimulus for each type of training we have: cycling, swimming, running, any of your sports and stuff like that. So keeping it low volume. Then also when it comes to the training component, making sure with the weight training component, you're not pushing it too hard in the weight training component. Try and push it a little bit, but never going to failure. You never want to fucking fully tax yourself, And like one big thing I'd probably say, it's going to sound weird, but like try and avoid deadlifting for the most part. Because deadlifting is very CNS taxing, so central nervous system taxing. And if you are doing very heavy deadlifts, like I can deadlift 200 kilos for 5 reps, all right? I'm not doing that anytime soon. I'm not deadlifting at all. I'm remaining in deadlifting to work on my hamstrings and my glutes, but I'm not actually deadlifting because it's such a taxing exercise. And if you do really fucking heavy deadlifts, doing sets of 5, 3s, and 1s, if you're a powerlifter, 100%. But, if you're just a person who's an athlete, you don't need to do that really heavy stuff because it is neurologically taxing. And if you neurologically tax yourself and central nervous system is taxed, you are going to have a very big issue trying to recover. Cool? Hopefully that makes sense. Again, just have some body awareness, guys. Listen to how you're going. And if you have any questions, you all can always hit me up on Instagram at Tyson the Trainer with 2 R's. And until next time, speak to you guys then.